So Helen Zille, who is the chairperson of the DA, sent a letter to Fikile Mbalula, who is the General Secretary of the ANC, telling him what needs to be happening in the ANC. She runs the DA and she wants to tell the ANC what to do with their leaders. I'm going to read the letter now and we'll try to digest it and and laugh together because wow. So the letter was written on the 27th of September, written by Helen Zille. She is the chairperson of the Federal Council, which is the DA, directed to Fikile Mbalula and David Makura. With regards to Tshwane, if maybe I can give you the background around this thing. So thing is, the Tshwane local municipality was ran by the DA and the Action SA. So which means for them to be able to elect the mayor and the MMCs, they had to vote together to make the government which was going to elect the mayor and the MMCs. So the ANC alone couldn't govern, the EFF alone couldn't govern, Action SA couldn't govern alone, TA couldn't govern alone, and all those other small political parties and your independents and all those kind of things. So what happened is Action SA voted with the DA to make that government, because if you can remember correctly, Herman Mashaba, after being the DA mayor in the city of Johannesburg, and then he opened his party after resigning as a mayor. He opened his party, which is Action SA, and he contested for the first time the local government elections, of which he got, especially in Gauteng, a lot of votes. I think 500,000 people voted for him in Gauteng. So Tshwane was ran by Action SA and DA. The mayor was the A, and deputy mayor was from the Action SA, and the MMCs were divided between those two political parties. The DA has removed some of their mayors, and I think Celia Brings has been there for something like 18 months or something like that. It hasn't been 24 months since he's been the mayor. So now the ANC motioned a vote of no confidence for Celia Brings to be removed as a mayor. But this was the second time. The first time they did that, they withdrew it, and then now it's the second time. And Action SA supported it, and EFF and all those other political parties supported the ANC with the motion of no confidence. But there is an issue, because with the whole government of national unity thing, the ANC and the DA, they want to rule all even local municipality, even provincial governments, as long as no party got the majority, which is 50 plus, and then those political parties, they had an agreement that they're going to constitute the government together. So this thing has been going now to local municipality, local government municipality, and so forth. So this is the letter that's Helen Zille wrote to Fikile Mbalula. She says, "I write to you in your respective capacity as the ANC Secretary General, which is Fikile Mbalula, and the ANC's lead coalition negotiator, which is David Makura. The events in Tshwane yesterday, where the provincial and local ANC defied its national leadership, have been a seismic events in the short life of the government of national unity." As I am reading this, can you please listen to this attentively? The events in Tshwane yesterday, where the provincial and local ANC defied the ANC in the province and the local government in Gauteng, in Tshwane specific, defied the national leadership, has been a seismic event in the short life of the government of national unity. The aftershocks will be felt throughout the country. I am aware of the significant efforts you both made over the past 2 weeks to persuade your Gauteng colleagues to facilitate a wide-ranging stability pact involving a range of hung metro municipality, hung metro councils in the run-up to the local government elections in 2026. My colleague Solim Simang and I appreciate the initial feedback and our regular meetings in person and visually. However, in the past 10 days, your failure to answer calls, respond to messages has damaged the trust relationship that was being built between us. I can only assume that you realize you were losing control of the ANC's internal battles with the Gauteng leadership and did not want us and did not want to reveal this to us. The purpose of this letter is to make clear that yesterday events in Tswana signal the end of progress we are making countrywide. In our discussions on various models of cooperation in hang metros, the DA and ANC led leadership in several of these metros. Ekurhuleni, Nelson Mandela Bay, and eThekwini have been involved in our encounter in exploratory talks about various options for cooperations between us in the councils. The DA will now withdraw from these talks, and SC must accept responsibility for the ongoing chronic instability of the metro and continuing service delivery failure. As South Africa approached the 2026 local government elections, the return of Silas Brink as the executive mayor of Tswana is a non-negotiable condition for these talks to resume. So you guys are going to laugh. The ANC should take careful notes of the widespread anger and backlash in the capital city against parties responsible for removing Mayor Brink. The major blunder of yesterday's event can be reversed by re-electing Brink to the position. It is very unfortunate that the substantial progress we have made have been undone by the obduracy of your Gauteng leadership under Premier Panyaza Lusufi. Until the ANC's national leadership reassess its authority in Gauteng, the metro in our most populous province will continue to disintegrate with profound negative economic consequences. Yours sincerely, the Chairperson. So, guys, you should just listen to this letter. I think if I'm able to save this life, I'll attach this letter in the comment sections for you guys to read it and align it and just try to dissect it, because there's something wrong about this letter. You can even hear or feel the tone of this letter. You can feel that there are demands that are being set here. ANC is being demanded to do something about Lusufi. I don't know what they need to do, but they need to affirm their authority to Panyaza Lusufi. And the reason for me to do this live perhaps is to ask questions, the questions that I'm asking myself, and I want to ask to you guys. Perhaps you might have answers, perhaps you might have a view that I don't have. Panyaza Lusufi was on an interview with Dr. Sizwe Mpofu-Walsh, and he said the ANC is not the branch of the DA. It mustn't be run by DA. It mustn't be run by Zille. Whatever that the ANC wants to do, it must do it on its own. It mustn't be told by DA. It mustn't be told by anyone on how to run their own organization, because it's their own organization. You can hear here Helen Zille is coming with whiteness. She demands things. It's her way or the highway. The city of Tswana is only going to be successful if the DA is in the council. If Silas Brink is the mayor. Other than that, it's not going to function. Other than that, it's not going to do anything right. It can only do right if the DA is part of the coalition. Wow. What's funny is, oh boy, what's funny is, Comrade Fikile Mbalula wrote a letter to Panyaza Lusufi. He wrote a letter on the 6th of October, and he said, request the subject of the letter is request to meet with the national officials on the 7th of October. I have observed with concern your public utterances with regards matters pertaining to GNU and the coalition in local municipalities following the national and provincial elections. These public utterances that you have made clearly go against the resolutions made by the National Executive Committee. you will recall that the NEC, which is the National Executive Committee, which is like the board of the ANC, you will recall that the NEC elaborately discussed the aftermath of the unfavorable electoral outcomes, which henceforth was characterized as a significant and strategic setback, and that mindful of the pivotals of the various options that availed, the NEC ultimately resolved on the GNU as the most valuable option. In contrast, your public articulations seems to argue in contradiction to the NEC resolutions in this regard, thereby bringing the ANC into public disrepute. Ordinarily, any organization that fails to observe the basic tenet of organization with respect to the principle of democratic centralism naturally invites such disrepute and ridicule of its leadership. Wow. You are accordingly requested to present an explanation to the national officials on why your public utterances will not be considered to be not only in violation of the principle of democratic centralism, but that's this inevitable violation of the NEC's constitution, with the consideration that all NEC decisions are binding to all lower structures. You are therefore requested to make this presentation as outlined above tomorrow, on Monday, the 7th of October, at the Chief Albert Luthuli House, 10th floor at 10 a.m. Yours sincerely, Fikile Mbalula. So, Zille tells the ANC, Zille tells Fikile Mbalula what needs to be done to the ANC for everything to be correct on the country, for everything to be well on the country. And Fikile Mbalula does what Zille says. And Fikile Mbalula commands Comrade Panyaza to come to the Luthuli House and present himself and answer questions with regards to this. What baffles me is that the ANC National, it never comes in defense of Lusufi. It never comes in defense of Lusufi, and they either deny it or approve it. They don't say Panyaza Lusufi is wrong when he says the decision for the mayor to be removed was from the National Working Committee, which is part and parcels of the National Executive Committee. So they don't say anything else. The spokesperson of the National Working Committee, if it's there, they don't say anything. They just let Helen Zille drags Panyaza Lusufi into this whole mess without them defending him. And when he defends himself, when he says anything about this, and then they summon him to Luthuli House to come and answer questions. But then when they take decisions, and now the decisions have consequences, Panyaza Lusufi and the Gauteng guys have to take the blame. What's happening here? What game is happening? What's happening? Because according to Panyaza, when he was on 702 with Clement Manyatela, is that he wasn't even on the country on the day when Celia Spring was removed as a mayor. He wasn't there, and the motion to remove Celia Spring came with the National Working Committee on that day, and they gave it to the Council of Tshwane to say this is how you're going to vote. If you can recall correctly, Flash Bambo was part and parcel of actually that, because as a deputy president, he's the one who was deploying the fighters as to who's going to be the councillor, who's going to be the mayor, who's going to do this and that. He was like running the guys who were working, who were in council. He was running the department in the FF. Who's this guy from Action SA? Herman Mashaba did say that if it wasn't for Floyd Shivambu coming to negotiate, to talk to the EFF, for them to work with him when he was the mayor for DA in the city of Johannesburg, it wouldn't have been possible. So when Panyaza, when the Gauteng take decisions, and then someone has to be playing, it becomes Panyaza Lusufi. They don't defend him. They don't say this decision was taken by the ANC. And now Fikile Mbalula sounds as if Panyaza Lusufi is the guy who Helen Zille say he is. So what I'm thinking here, what I'm suspecting here is power struggles. Fikile Mbalula is availing himself to be the next president, especially on the line Yabo Cyril Ramaphosa, on the faction Yabo Cyril Ramaphosa, because he supports whatever that Cyril Ramaphosa supports. he it's funny how things are happening. They don't defend Panyaza Lusufi, but as soon as things get bad, then they want to recall him, they want to talk to him. So basically, I was just trying to read these letters, and sharing my thoughts about it. But fortunately enough, nothing happened. Fortunately enough, or unfortunately enough, nothing happened on this meeting that they're talking about. I'm not sure if Fikile Mbalula was doing this just to comfort Helen Zille, to say we are doing something about it, or it's really happening. Maybe the ANC is just at play here. They just want to do things behind their backs and behind their backs, and say, no, we're going to do it. We're going to talk to this Panyaza. We're going to fix it. But then they don't do anything to Panyaza. But thing is, Panyaza comes along as the bad guy. He comes along as the bad apple in this whole thing. And I wonder what's on play here. I really wonder what's on play. Yeah, that's my thoughts. Cheers, guys.